guys, and welcome to this episode of Fireside Chat with the Johnstons. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Justin.
And we are excited to have you guys on here today as we talk about what it would be like, hypothetically, of course, to have a full gym, but not feel so full on the inside.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what if you're doing really well, but you feel kind of hollow because why, Danielle?
Well, I think there are times that you can feel this way in your gym. Maybe you've set goals so much and you've achieved them so much that you almost have like an achievement fatigue or like a goal fatigue.
This sucks. I am so unhappy.
And to people who've maybe never set these huge goals and achieved them before, you might be thinking, that's crazy. Who would ever be in fatigue about achieving a goal? But I think it can happen. And I think part of it, happens when you get burned out.
I mean, we see this across multiple industries, though. People finally achieve that one goal they've been trying to get to, whether it was military rank or that position, manager or something like that. And sometimes it's not exactly what they thought it was going to feel like or thought it was going to be, or they have so much responsibility now that it's overwhelming. There's just many, many different reasons that you kind of feel like almost a letdown a little bit once you get that achievement that you were looking for.
And I think it's normal to work so hard to get to that goal. And by the time you achieve the goal, like you're just burned out. You're like, thank you. I'm glad I achieved the goal, but like now I need a break. That's not abnormal.
Now I want a vacation.
That's right.
For like a month.
For like 6 months.
Yeah. But I can't because now I'm in this new position or now I'm in this new high and I can't pull out of it because I'm stuck now.
Right. So we're going to talk about that today, and we'll give you guys some actionable ways that if you feel like you have finally hit that goal or like that level of success that you thought would feel so great, what do you do now?
One of our big goals with Next Gen is teaching people how to not let the gym run them, but we want you to be running the gym. So that allows you the opportunity to leave when you need to leave. If there's family emergencies, different things that happen. Like when life happens, you are not restricted. You're not held back by your business. That's the last thing that a business owner needs. So make that your goal, because if you want to have never have achievement fatigue, you just set a goal to like help other people always reach their goals, and then you'll never get achievement fatigue because there's always somebody new with some new goal they're excited about. Definitely.
All right, let's get into this. Okay, so number one, why success can feel hollow sometimes. Have you guys ever played that game, The Sims? Did you ever play that, Justin?
Not really, but I saw other people playing it.
Okay, it was like a dorky computer game,
yeah.
But I had...
but I'm not a gamer, so
No, I know.
I saw that and I was like, oh.
Okay, but
it's like a lot of effort for...
I wasn't a gamer either, but
it is cool. It's
a roommate who had this game.
Yeah.
And I was 20 and it was my first apartment. There were 5 of us girls living in a 3-bedroom apartment together, townhouse. And one of them said, hey, I've got this game going to The Sims and I've been playing it for a couple of hours. Can somebody else hop on for a little bit so I can go shower and get ready? And then my sim, I don't have to pause my sim. Anyway, we ended this game 4 days later. Someone stayed up at any given time to keep the Sims going.
Yeah, because you have to keep them alive, right?
Yeah, you like Tamagotchi, but you have to keep them alive. But here's where I'm going with this.
Okay.
There was always these levels, what's your social level? What's your health level? What's your work level? And you were always trying to balance these levels. And if one of them got too low, your social level got too low because you never spent time with your sim friends, you no longer had friends, or your health level got too low and the game would shut down for a while because your sim had to go recharge and sleep and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, at the time I didn't recognize it, but it's so normal in life.
Uh-huh. Could you elaborate, please?
You have to maintain these different levels of things in your life, because if you totally forget about health, you're all of a sudden, maybe not immediately, but 5 years from now, you're suddenly going to have knee problems and you're overweight and high blood pressure and all these different things. If you never have social time, you're going to find that when you're stressed out about something, going out with friends just isn't an option for de-stressing. And so success can feel hollow sometimes because we've missed those levels. Like
Yep.
we've put the wrong emphasis in the wrong areas rather than trying to like maintain those levels while achieving our goals.
And I know it sounds kind of superficial because I've heard this many times talked across different different businesses, but one of them was the military. They called it pillars in your life, and so you had to you wanted to be able to add to all of the pillars. But one thing I've noticed in life is the more emphasis and the more effort you put into something, the most growth you're going to see in that. I mean, it's common sense, but when you don't, and especially at a young age, I didn't think too much about these. When I thought about my social, yeah, I've got some friends. That's cool. When I thought about, like, one of them was religion, in the military too. Like, if you're religious, you need to be in religion, different things like that. But when you didn't, like, exercise and being young, you didn't really care about, when you're young, you just don't really care about it because you're like, you know what, I'm young. I don't have to worry about, my knee breaking or, breaking a hip or whatever. Yeah, I just don't have to worry about it because you're kind of in shape and you kind of naturally are at young age. But as you get a little older, if you're not creating a system or a repetition of working muscles and creating friends and maintaining those friendships, they do fall away, and including your body. Your body just starts degrading because you ignore it. You sit in a chair all the time. You don't go out and actually exercise and maintain friends. So it does over time. You don't realize, but you're creating patterns at a young age. And if you don't maintain good patterns, you're going to have unhealthy patterns going into, future. And so that's why we're talking about this today, because it can really hurt you and it can wreck your business in the future.
I think some of those levels can be more, like, I'm still talking in Sims terms, but I think some of them can be more challenging too because of the nature of the business we're in. We spend an abnormal amount of time around children. We spend a lot of time working nights and weekends.
Yep.
Whereas if you're a 20-year-old coach, you're probably, like, all your friends are out on Thursday night. What do they call it? Thirsty Thursday. Like, they're out doing something, or they're at Taco Tuesday, or they're out, watching the football game on Sunday afternoon, and you're at work.
Yeah, because they work an 8 to 5.
Yeah.
A typical job, but.
Yeah. Or they're just college kids.
Yeah.
You have it so easy.
And I think this type of business can really take a toll, especially on health and relationships.
Right. Absolutely.
So how many of us are eating? I mean, I know the Johnstons were like, if Justin asks for dinner at like 6:30 at night, I'm like laughing because I'm like, you better eat a snack because you got 3 hours.
But, the way I grew up, we ate at 5 to 6, we were eating dinner. But that was just because my mom just got home at 4:30 or so. She was making dinner, and then we ate by 6.
Yeah.
But here, it's like 9:30 to 10 o'clock at night is our normal dinner.
And so I think it can take a toll on you because, the health side of things, should you be eating right before you go to bed? I don't know. But
that's why we don't go to bed till midnight. So you got to allow digestion time.
Definitely.
Good, healthy practices.
But, like my parents, when I was young, they would eat dinner, and then a little bit later, they'd go for a walk around the neighborhood, like walk the dog, like, unless you want to walk at 11:30 at night, like, it's just not happening in our lives. And so we have to adapt and do things just differently than everybody else that we know in life.
And what happens when you're walking the dog with your spouse? Socializing. There's a little socialization there.
Quality time.
Quality time, yeah.
And so when you're neglecting those
is that
things,
quality time? I just wanted to make sure, because I do that and I don't get that check mark for her for quality time.
Hold on, let me check my calendar and see when the last time you went with me to walk the dog was.
That backfired. Okay, go ahead. Let's continue.
I also think, and if we're speaking to the owners right now, think of your staff, especially those who aren't married. Like, it's pretty tough to be like, I can go on a date at Tuesday at 10 a.m., right? Like, that can be a tough life to be in.
Yeah.
And so it almost doesn't matter what goals you're achieving. If you had personal goals in your life to, like, get married one day, have a family, buy a house, if you can't achieve any of those personal goals, but you're achieving all the goals in the gym, that can still be really hard. And
so that really rolls into, like, point number 2. It's really awesome when you can achieve these goals at your gym or at your business, but it's not cool when you can't bring it home and tell somebody and have them appreciate how much effort you've put in, because they resent it. Because that gym, that business is taking all of their time from their, they're not getting that quality time, as Danielle puts it, quality time. They didn't get to go for those walks at night, walking the dogs. And,
number one, I hope our marketing team quotes Justin on "it's not cool to do that."
Oh, to quote?
Yeah, I hope you get that quoted. Like, I hope Allie puts that on Instagram. It's not cool to do whatever you just said. But number 2, I don't know why you're air quoting quality time, Justin. That is like a legit thing.
No, I know, but I do that and I don't get my kudos for it.
You never appreciate anything I do.
Your quality time.
Yes.
When I'm out talking to you while you're working on a car.
Yes, that's quality time.
That's your quality time.
No, that's quality time, Danielle.
My quality time.
I am spending time talking to you.
Actually, guys, do you know what is like a 2-for-1?
2-for-1.
My favorite, like one of my favorite moments of quality time is actually when Justin works out with me. And we're not even doing the same workout program. We're not even doing, like, Justin doesn't do legs. If you know him, he's like buff on top, but like he doesn't work out legs. And like,
itty bitty leg. No.
I'm all legs.
I hate legs. I just don't like them.
Yeah, but
It's
like, so we don't even like work out together, but we sometimes listen to the music together, and I watch Justin dance while he's over in his area and he's like dancing a pit bull.
No, that's part of my exercise. You don't even. She just doesn't understand. It's okay.
He does a combination of like CrossFit and heavy weightlifting and Zumba.
Yeah.
So
I'm stretching.
But like that is quality time for me. And it's one of my favorite ones, and it pairs the two.
So where am I going with this is finding out what that quality time is, because I just learned that right there. Right there. Now I know.
That's right.
Quality time with my wife is not working on a car and talking to her. It's working out.
It's definitely not working on a car and
exercising while I'm working out. That seems to be.
But
we don't talk in there. It's just togetherness.
No, but we like make jokes.
Okay.
Like like I'll see you dancing and I'll pull out my phone to video it. Like you stop and we do have quality time in there. And so I think that's one area you can feel that toll. Like you take a toll, and it doesn't matter how well your gym is doing. If your goal was to get married and have a family and be a mom or a dad and have a house, and you can't do any of that because secretly not even secretly, but like subconsciously, that all the effort you've put into the gym is all the effort you have to give, and you've put it there.
And I can speak from the guy standpoint. It's really, really tough when you feel like you're doing all of this effort, achieving and making more money or making that next rank or something like that, to come home and have people not appreciate it. But the resentment comes from just not prioritizing everybody in a different way, not being able to compartmentalize that part and work on this part now.
Right.
It's like, I'm going to give 100% focus to this, and the rest of them, they can wait.
Yeah.
But the problem is people only wait so long, and then they kind of fall away. And that goes for friends, for your health, and for your family. I don't know how many times, just speaking from a military, background, that we saw people achieve in the military, and then to find out within a year or two, they were divorced.
Yep.
Because the spouse just wasn't going to put up with it anymore. Like it wasn't a terrible thing. They just got ignored, and nobody wants to be ignored. So
right.
That's, so that balance, and it's a work-life balance. It really is.
And you guys know how it is. If you have been constantly trying to achieve a goal, maybe your goal was to have, 350 kids in the gym.
Yep.
Whatever that goal was that you were working so hard to achieve, I can tell you, actually, I'm going to use a better example. Brianna and I, a year or two ago, were trying to have a contest.
Oh, that was.
Get to 700 athletes in the gym first. So I was checking all the time. I was like, did we sell any more trials today? Did we get any more kids? Any more re-enrollments? Like anybody who signed up for novice cheer this week or like anything like that.
It was a fun challenge.
It was a totally fun challenge.
Actually, we didn't need to do more of those. That kept her motivated and was fun.
Yeah, it meant nothing, to be honest, because then we raised our prices, a couple months later, and our numbers dropped, but then our revenues remained. Like it, but it was like this arbitrary number that we both just wanted. But it did consume a lot of my time and my thoughts because, I was kind of checking my phone every so often, or Justin would be talking and in the middle of a sentence and I'm like, yeah, one more kid. Like, oh, we're so close. And then of course I'd message Rihanna and like trash talk for a minute.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're going down, Canada. And so, it's cool, but it totally consumes your time, and you have to be careful because I'm lucky that I have a spouse who's in the gym and like you understand the importance of us achieving goals. It hasn't always been that way.
Right.
You know, so if you guys are listening to this and you're thinking like my husband would never understand why that would make me so excited, like we've also been there. And Justin was able to adapt and overcome and get into this world and appreciate it and find his role within the gym. You've kind of coached a lot of husbands into helping find their role.
Yeah, you got to find the value in it, but also, you know, just to see the passion that your spouse has for it and trying to find a way that you can help instead of hinder.
Right.
I mean, there's a monetary value as well to it, but also just to have that relationship and be able to understand more of what they're having to deal with. And because it's not all easy and it's not all simple, but having those goals that you have set and being able to push her towards that has been very, very beneficial. So, yeah.
And you do have to be careful because I think if you allow the gym to take over your life, you're going to see those things diminish, you know, the levels diminish. But it's so easy for your gym to take over your life because for so many people, you know, I talked in a previous episode about how a lot of people find their identity within their gym. Like, who are you? I'm a gym owner. And so that's hard, but also like I can't go to the store without seeing a parent from the gym or a kid from the gym. And so it does in a lot of ways, even if you're trying to compartmentalize and be like, I am here in the moment. We are going out to eat. We're not going to talk about the gym.
Right.
And then a former athlete comes up and is your server.
They are everywhere.
Right. Like it is hard because I think that your idea of totally separating the gym from everything else in life gets really hard. And so then you start to take those achievements that you've made at the gym. And in some ways you're resenting other parts of life because you've spent all your time and effort on those. Okay, so let's talk about spotting early signs of achievement fatigue. And maybe achievement fatigue isn't as good of a term as like goal fatigue. It can be a cycle. Set goals, achieve goals, set goals, achieve goals. And you know that you're always working toward them. And it's always going to be task-based of things that you have. And so you can get to a point where you're like, okay, I've achieved all these goals, but like now I'm not excited to start new goals because I just finished it and achieved that. And while I know it's exciting to achieve the goal, now I have to almost start over from scratch again.
And it's a lot of work to set a goal, set all the steps to get to the goal, get your team motivated to jump back onto these new goals when you just got done with these other ones. It's, and it's timely too on these things.
Yeah.
Like,
It's exhausting.
typically people do the New Year's resolution. How long do those last? You know, those types of things. So there's definitely a fatigue to just setting them, getting them ready, and then implementing.
Coincidentally, I'm reading a book right now that's talking about how some people, you know, when you're doing a project, and in this sense, it would be maybe achieving a goal, some people have a hard time and they just get exhausted with the idea of just envisioning, like, what kind of goal could I possibly set?
Yeah.
Other people, they poke holes in the goal before it even becomes a thing.
It'll never work. It'll never work.
Actually, one of my strengths.
What's that? Oh, yeah. You call it a strength, poke holes. It's a strength of man.
Okay, well, you're going to have to read the book because it talks about how you need people like that.
Well, we do, but less would be more. Less is more. There's a saying.
There's other people who are really good when you're trying to get to the goal at galvanizing the troops. Like, come on, you guys, we're rallying. Like, we've got this. I'm going to be honest, that's not my strong point. I don't enjoy doing it. And I think that for me, having to be that person gives me achievement fatigue because I know when we set a goal, if I have to be the person that is constantly cheering us on past the finish line, like that's going to mentally exhaust me.
Aren't you in cheerleading though?
Yes, but we don't actually cheer for people.
It's true.
It's true. If you didn't get the memo,
Kind of true.
We cheer for ourselves and we hope the judges agree. But so there's like these elements.
Very cheerful.
Yeah, there's like these elements. And then, Justin, I would say one area of fatigue for you, which I'm going to have you read this book when I'm done.
Okay.
But it talks about some people get that excitement from like checking the box, finishing the project, saying, this is done. We hit it. That's one of mine as well.
Oh, it is.
I don't know if I would say that you get the same adrenaline rush from saying this project is complete.
No, it's a guy thing though. I think it's just a guy thing. Like I like 80%. I like 80%.
No.
And I have a reason for that though too. Just
Okay.
yeah. I mean 80% is pretty much done. I mean honestly. And like I put it in the terms of like construction and homes and stuff, and 80% means you're not going to sell it because it's not done. But when you do get a house 100% done, that's when your spouse is like, hey, let's sell the house. And you're like, no, I just got it finished. So 80%, spouse is never going to be like, oh, we can sell this. No, can't do it. Can't do it because you never finish any projects. Like still baseboard missing over here and you got trim over, things like that. But I want to stay for a long time. I'm setting roots down.
I'm just going to say, I think this is a Justin problem and not a
No, it's a typical guy.
Issue.
No, it is gender for sure. For sure. I've talked to many, many men and they all
happen to be the same as you.
Yes, it is a guy thing. 80%.
So
is done.
For some people, again, having to rally the troops to finish something, especially when you have people like that on your team.
So she's not a good rallier, obviously.
No, because I want to shove you over the finish line.
Well, you did one time, and we sold the house.
To be
so
fair,
now,
to be fair, I never want to have to.
I learned my lesson.
So, know that there's elements of this when you talk about achievement fatigue. It's the steps in the process that sometimes you have to mentally get past the parts that you hate, whether it's the vision or poking holes in it or the day-to-day figuring out how your day-to-day team is going to do it. Whatever it is, it's normal to have that, but you have to recognize what part of the process do I not love so that I can either find somebody else to do it or I can say, I have to push through it in a way that I enjoy pushing through it.
And if you are a hole puncher like this one, don't punch too many holes in it because you got to leave a little bit of room for surprise.
Swiss cheese, buddy.
Surprise.
I make sure we're going to
out there because maybe some of the holes, I mean, honestly, people punch more holes than are actually there to punch. Honestly, they do.
Okay.
But leave a little surprise in there. Just like life. Let life happen.
I'm just going to let us fail once in a while so that he understands why.
That was a little golden nugget there for you.
We'll let us fail once in a while so you understand why I poke those holes.
Okay. Next.
All right. So when you're doing this, guys, you have got to remember your why. That's the next point on here is that if you don't remember why you started this business in the first place or why you're doing things.
Or you lose it. You just lose your why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be really hard to get back on track with setting and achieving those goals.
Life happens and it will take your why from you.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I start? I started because I wanted to help these kids that couldn't afford cheer. They have all this expertise. They have all the skill. They just don't have the opportunity. And so I wanted to give them the opportunity through my business to be there. But then it turns out that the parents of these kids suck the life out of you.
And they're the ones who are asking for all the free things and expecting you to give it to them. And this is a generalization.
I'm not speaking specifically. I'm just saying.
But we've seen it over and over in gyms.
And it can happen and it will happen if you let it happen. But it will take the why from you. And that's really sad because the spark that's in you that loves that and wants to help that needs to be nourished and it needs to grow and thrive. And there is a way to do that in your gym that allows that to happen even more, but it can take it away from you when you have these people and they overwhelm you and they literally take the life out of you and it takes away your why. And then and when you have no why, you're basically a robot at that point and you're stuck in that position until you decide to break the mold.
Why can change all the time.
Yep.
If you start a gym because, the other gym in town is closing and you just want kids to have somewhere to cheer, well, that's great. But 3 or 4 years down the road, if another gym opens in town, are you going to close? Okay, cool. There's another gym now.
That
was my why. I was opening so that these kids would have somewhere to cheer. And now there's another place and I can close. No, nobody is doing that. So your why does change over time.
Another why is I took my daughter to this gym, didn't like it. So we decided to open our own gym, and you open a gym because you just didn't like the other gym in town and you wanted your daughter to be in a different location or a different program. Yeah. And so you start this program and then your daughter outgrows it. Your why is gone. And do you quit then or do you continue? Life changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the why changes as well.
So it's okay to have your why change, but you have to know what your why is at any given time, because if you don't know what it is, it's going to be really hard to find that motivation to get back on track and to set goals and push through the moments that are not easy when it comes to actually achieving those goals.
I do that on the daily with Danielle.
Oh, do you?
I push through to achieve my goals.
He pushes through.
I push it through. I have to change my why a lot.
So marriage tip number 72 from the Johnsons, just push through.
Push through. I did get a Harley that way. Just kept pushing through.
He just kept pushing. I'll say that.
But look, I achieved my goal, and now the success, unimaginable. Unimaginable.
And he's going on a Harley ride all day tomorrow, and I'm going to sit by the pool all
It's not
day.
a Harley
Nobody
ride.
bugging
It's
me.
a motorcycle rally. You need to get the lingo.
I'm not
okay?
going, so I
you
don't
understand the lingo. Okay, it's a motorcycle rally.
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
And then we will spend quality time together the next day.
Yes, because that is Mother's Day, and that is what is socially acceptable.
So you're going to spend time. Let the record be there. He is going to spend time with me on Mother's Day because it's socially acceptable.
I have a way with words, Danielle. Don't judge me.
Perfect. Okay, so guys, it's your job to redefine success in a way that it not only feels good, but it brings joy to you, it brings joy to your staff, and it redefines what your why is. Because, we started our gym at the beginning because I wanted kids to have an affordable option. I also got into the business and realized very quickly that our prices have to be a certain point for us to continue operating and have great staff. And so, yes, it's an affordable option, but after a couple of years, I went full-time at the gym and Justin went full-time at the gym. And if at one point you're having a hard time figuring out your why, if you pay yourself, it's a heck of a lot easier to remember what your why is, because though you may have opened the gym for some other reason, you can't just up and quit tomorrow because you want to, if you're taking a paycheck from the gym. So,
and she's mentioned paycheck and price changes and stuff like that. And if you did start your gym to help out the people that need help, underprivileged kids and stuff like that, we're not talking having a gym that only caters to people that are Lululemon and carrying Stanley cups. We're talking a well-rounded gym. Right. You should have a program for the single mom that has 3 kids. You should have some, programs in your gym that she can afford. But also, I want to have a program in the gym as well that caters to people because they want to spend their money. Mm-hmm. I want Lululemon and Stanley Cup people to spend their money there as well. So
they're going to spend their money somewhere. So make it a small business.
And have a good variety. Now, doesn't mean it's the restaurant with 13 pages of menu and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know. But having a great spread of what you provide is perfect. And then having good profit margins on them. Yeah. So
even on your lower income ones, you have to have sufficient profit margins because you don't want your staff to be low income because you can't afford to pay them anything and they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart. That is also, you're not helping people if that's the kind of gym that you run.
However, if you have good profit margins in those and you do want to have a way of helping out underprivileged kids that can't afford this, now you can afford to have a budget built in where you can take on maybe 5 or 6 kids or something like that and you can assist them.
Yeah.
On a maybe a scholarship type
partner
basis.
with a nonprofit.
Yep. There are many different ways to do that. But when you have a healthy business, you can have that part. And that might be your why.
Right.
And it sustains that whole business is keeping that's your why. And look what I'm able to do because the business is doing so well. I can help out these 5 or 6 extra kids over here and that would never be able to afford this. And look at them in my program. They're just excelling. Those are the ones that you that may be the thing that keeps you going.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you guys. Well, I hope that you found this super helpful for you, especially if you have ever experienced that level of fatigue where you're kind of just not motivated to set new goals, and you're not motivated to work through them because you've had a lot of success and now you're just sort of tired. Summer can be one of those times that it's really hard to motivate yourself to work on those goals. And so you have to remember that those successes you've had in the past didn't come overnight. They didn't come, the easy way. And they certainly didn't come certain times of the year just because you wanted to take summer off. Okay, guys. And with that, thank you so much for watching us on this episode of Fireside Chat
with the Johnstons.
We'll see you next time.
Ciao.
Ciao.